You're listening to Inside Real Estate, your source for all things mortgage and real estate related. The show that brings you all the hottest topics and insights directly from those who know it most. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
I think it's time we change the intro.
I like it.
You just roll with it, you think?
No, I think you should change it.
I think it's time, right?
Yeah, because you evolved just like the...
I'm like a butterfly.
You are. You've come into your own. I
I
told you that
changing
before.
the music, but I like the
chick.
British girl.
Everybody likes the British girl. What's up, everyone? Paul Paslakis, Salvatore Guzmano, Brad Weisgerber is not with the show today. He had a leaky roof or some shit.
Yeah, we get a picture at like 10 p.m. and he's like, "There's water coming through my lights."
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so we are inside real estate. We have a very special guest. Actually, our very first guest when we started this new iteration of the show, Mr. Tony Raffin. How are you, sir?
Hey, in the house.
Yeah, we're not going to have a shortage of talking. Tony, sometimes I got to put a muzzle on him. I got to give him the cutoff, but he's going to be great today. How are you today?
Talk to Tony.
Talk to Tony. Well, we're going to talk about that.
Or Tony's talking, it should be, instead of talk to Tony.
Tony talks. So, we've been doing the show now. We're a year. It's like our year anniversary right now, which is really interesting. It's funny.
A couple weeks.
Yeah, on my LinkedIn, it showed up as my year anniversary, and you get all these congratulations, like spam, it just hits the button.
Leap year week.
Yeah, it's like
LinkedIn is the fakest.
Fake it. Yeah,
I hate it.
Horrible. It's like you just can push a button and say congratulations, and you can tell it's just somebody just pushing a button.
Right.
I feel it's almost disrespectful. Right? Just at least write a message that's personal.
I never thought of that, but I don't really use LinkedIn that much.
I do.
I mean, I'm on it, and people friend me and thank me and congratulate
And blow
me.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying they do all this stuff, and then you're thinking to yourself,
It's all for something.
it's not Facebook.
No.
And
No.
it's like, what do I have in common with some guy from,
You want to hear something funny about LinkedIn? I got reached out to by a matchmaker, asking me if I was single and if I was open to a free matchmaking opportunity for her. And I was like, I'm happily married. Thank you very much. And then I sent her my friend's picture who needs to get married. So
send it to him.
She never reached out.
No,
to him.
that's because he's not the multimillionaire that you are.
Right, yeah, right. That's what it is. So today, guys, I do want to talk about some topics that I think are top of mind. A few things. Zillow officially is rebranding their mortgage company to Zillow Mortgages. They are officially going to be doing mortgages. They're officially doing real estate. They're officially trying to take over the market, doing a one-stop shop. And I want to talk about what that means for the market. I personally don't think it fucking matters, but because there's our service. But anyways, we'll get into that. I want to talk about Sally. I want us to talk a little bit about this. It's DU and Fannie Mae. It's gotten tighter to where what we thought were approvals in the past, they're all of a sudden not approvals.
Yeah.
So it's a dangerous thing when you're not doing approvals correctly. And then we also absolutely want to talk to Tony about Talk to Tony.
TalkToTony.com?
TalkToTony.com.
Yeah, my website,
Yeah.
my podcast,
So-
my YouTube,
So Tony, for everybody to understand, I mean, obviously you're a staple in the show, but great agent, done a lot of good work in your history. You're very, very talented. People kind of like you, which I don't get.
I wonder why.
But you're really starting to get into your own with your own voice in the marketplace and kind of spreading your knowledge, and this is something that's like an initiative for you right now. So I want you to talk to the audience a little bit about, what your thoughts are on that, why you're doing the podcast, what the podcast is going to be all about, because we definitely want to support you because you do have information that I think is valuable to an audience.
Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's as nice as it's going to get.
Yeah. It's weird how you said that, and I never thought of myself that way.
Yeah.
I really don't, because I went to a marketing conference that you were supposed to go with me, but you had some other things to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you need your voice to get out there. You need to publish all the time.
Yeah.
You need to make yourself an expert at what you do. Because, the guy's like, well, everybody's an expert at something. And I'm like, dude, I'm just a real estate agent,
Yeah.
And then he
that's
goes,
not- yeah.
well, this guy made $130,000 teaching people how to tie bow ties. I'm like, what? Well, he's an expert at it. He did some videos. He sold them online, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
It's legit.
he kept saying, you're an expert at something. You're an expert at something. You're an expert at something. And all I kept saying was, what am I an expert at? And then one day it just hit me. It's like, well, wait a second. Dude, I'm really pretty good at what I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how do I teach people? I'm not a teacher. I would always say I'm a terrible teacher. I'm a terrible teacher. Well, one of the biggest things is leading by example. So if you don't know how to teach, at least show people what you do and lead by example. So it's like, okay, so how do I do this? And then I thought to myself, it's funny, all these people start coming in and asking questions.
To you.
To new agents, even the older agents. I got agents that are older than me and been in the business 10 years longer than me, and they're like, can you answer this question?
That's like Sal for me. I ask Sal everything.
So, but it's like weird. So when that came up, and it's like, okay, something's fishy here. Something's fishy here. So I says, you know what? I need to do this service. And like I said, I'm not worried about getting paid for it. I don't care about that.
No. It could never be the primary motivation to do this.
If you get, and you know what? I've been saying this since I started selling real estate, and I tell this to all the newbies. If you're doing this for the money, get out now. Okay?
Because there's a lot easier ways to make money.
Without even question. I says, at the end of the day, hold on a second. What the hell?
Okay. Tony, by the way, never gets off his phone.
I never get off my phone. And the only reason I'm on it is because if my wife texts me, I got to make sure I respond. It's like the leash, my leash. No, I just got to make sure we don't have an emergency.
By the way, that's a noose.
It's a noose. Okay. We have 4 kids at home, so we have to make sure. But what's really weird is here you are, you want to do something. And I remember, and I tell everybody this day, and I guess life is about storytelling. It really, really is.
Yeah.
Because people buy what they want, not what they need.
Agreed. Look at Sal.
I mean, yeah, I know. When he pulled in that brand new BMW, I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong? I said, let me see here. This year I got rid of the race car, the R8, the boat, all the shit. I'm driving around in a $200 pickup truck, and you got a brand new Beamer, son of a bitch.
Well,
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm reverting into in a different mind state as I'm going to be 15 years old this year.
Finish your thought.
I see ADD.
Yeah, go.
Shiny object syndrome.
I'm going to keep you on tracks. Go,
okay.
Sal.
So my dear friend who got me into the business, his name was Klaus Prost.
Okay.
And Klaus was one of the top agents in our state.
Yeah.
And he used to say, you get the most with Prost. Let Klaus sell your house. And he would drive around in a Jag, and he had his Cadillacs, and he had his Corvettes, and he was just a 6'2", blonde hair, bushy eyes, and like that porn star mustache, But he was a good-looking man, and he was in perfect physical shape. And he'd look at you in the eyes and say, "Klaus Prost, nice to meet you." And he became one of my best friends.
Okay.
And he always told me, Tone, he'd say it in that deep German voice, Tone, don't do it for the money. Do it because you love doing it.
Yeah.
Do it because you're helping somebody. The money will come.
The money follows, dude. The money follows.
Dude, I could never have imagined the successful career that I've had. I've taken this storm all the way to California. I became one of the top real estate agents in California, number 4 RE/MAX team in the California-Hawaii region.
Wow.
While I was one of the top 3 here in Michigan.
Wow.
At the same time. Go figure. How do you do that? And it was like, that's when the epiphany hit me. This is what I'm good at. I know what to do. So far in my life, I've trained 6 people how to do what I did.
Yeah.
Every one of them is still out there working today, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and hundreds and thousands of transactions. California, Florida, Michigan, they're there. They're doing it. And it's like,
you spread your seed. You spread your seed.
That's not a good way. That doesn't sound good the way you said it.
I'm just saying.
But so one of the things that I wanted to do was I said, you know what? I need to do a podcast where people can write in, ask a question, or even call in.
Yeah.
And they can ask a question, and then I can answer it. And I don't want it to be a long podcast because sometimes long podcasts, people don't have that time.
It's a commitment.
It is a definite commitment. But if I could do a 5 to 10 minute a day episode,
you're gonna do something for 5 or 10 minutes with talking.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know it's very difficult.
That's
and especially because I'm going
to
be multitasking because I'll be driving at the same time. So what I've been doing is recording a bunch of podcasts in my car.
Yeah.
And while I'm driving, so I do a video.
That's interesting. Okay.
Which is a little difficult because I'm not looking into the camera all the time. I should put the camera right in front of me while I'm driving, but I'm always all over the place. And I thought, I need to answer questions for real estate, for mortgages. And then what I'm going to do is, if I get mortgage questions, basically what we'll do is we'll go to the rooftop and I'll bring somebody in that can answer that question. Because if there's something I don't know, I'll find out. Because that was always my motivation, even as a beginning realtor. If somebody asked you a question, what do you do if you don't know the answer? You don't lie to them. You say, you know what, let me find out. And when I find out, I'll get back with you right away. And that was one of my go-to
Well, one of the
learning
tricks,
things.
and Sal, I think you're good at this. So people ask Sal, I ask Sal questions. Everybody asks Sal questions because Sal is like an animal about getting the answers, and he has a lot of answers that even because there's so many things in our business that
Without
you just,
question.
that you just don't come across all the time. And Sal, you do a really good job. Not only do you get the answer, but you get the right answer. Like you don't, and I think that's important because making up an answer is sometimes sufficient for that person, but it doesn't do them any good.
I won't do it.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, people sometimes just want to tell someone what they want to hear, right?
Yeah.
And finding the right answer and telling them what they need to hear, right? It's kind of like that want versus need
Right.
we're talking about. That's
Right.
what's important, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people just want to tell people what they want
Yeah.
to hear and get them off their back.
No, it's always, I mean, every day, right? Hey, someone's with the same company they're with, they're starting a new location. Can we use their commission? Blah, blah, blah. In your head, you think, yeah, no problem, right? No big deal.
Yeah,
made
you
a
want
lot of
them off
money,
your
right?
back.
But even real
But
estate agents.
You got to find out, and then you're like, hey, we can't.
But even
I'm
your
sorry.
agents,
So you gotta wait.
Even your agents ask you, even like off the wall questions, just like, what should I do here with this contract? And
Yeah.
like you get questions like that all the time.
And they're real estate questions, and you're the mortgage guy.
Yeah, but he's good.
I know he's good.
Yeah.
Believe we've done several
Yeah,
deals. He's really good.
he's one of the
Everyone's
best, yeah.
happy. Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
So does Rose.
Yeah.
Rose is heaven.
Rose was badass, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She was really, really good.
So you're going to be doing this thing where you're answering where can people go to ask you these questions? I mean,
You go on Facebook, type in "Talk to Tony," no spaces, one word. Talk to Tony.
Yeah.
And you
they
can
can
find
just
me
ask you
there.
anything.
Yes, and then we're
can they be life oriented questions like, Tony, I'm having a hard time right now with my mental state. How do I get over this?
You know what? Sal asked me that, and I thought to myself, I'm pretty good at that too.
Yeah.
I'm 58. I'm going to be 58 years old this year.
That's one of the things that you like. When you say you specialize,
Yeah.
having the ability to be in this business for as long as you have, it isn't just the knowledge; it's the ability to work through adversity, and I think that's a big thing for you. I think you should talk about that.
I've worked through a ton of adversity, and I remember I've got a friend of mine. I'm not going to mention names, although he probably would like his name mentioned. But he always laughed because he goes, "Tony Raffin," and I'm like, "What, Joe? What?" And
Jessica's losing her mind. She's
Sorry,
like,
I just blew Jessica's ears out. And he goes, "You're the guy that don't stay down. You go down and you get back up. You go down and you get back up. You go down and you get back up." And it's like, dude, I need to soar for a little while right now.
Yeah.
Because going down and getting up and going down and getting up, and we've all been through trials and tribulations. So sometimes some of the stuff that I can say would help. So honestly, it's basically real estate and mortgage related.
Yeah.
But
It's anything. It can be anything.
even legal issues as far as
You've had a lot of those.
yes.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, I think you could relate it to just business, right, and sales in general, because that's essentially
It's what you're good at, man.
It is. You know what? I am good at it. I don't like to brag about it.
It's okay. It's
I've never
okay.
been one of those guys that post my awards online. My staff will do it. Other agents in the office, my broker will do it. Stuff like that.
But it's okay to acknowledge it every once in a while.
You
man.
can acknowledge it, and you know what? I do know what I'm talking about. I do have a giant curriculum vitae, and not a lot of people know what a curriculum vitae is, but it's something that you take into court when you need to testify on behalf. Like if an attorney, I can get hired from an attorney because of the knowledge that I have and the experience that I have. I go into court and I can make $350 an hour sitting there testifying
in your field.
in my field.
That's
yeah,
wild.
because I'm considered an expert in my field. So do I know what I know? How do I know what I know? I think those years of experience just put it to a whole nother level, because college doesn't do. You could be. I've got lawyers that call me and ask me, because they're not real estate lawyers, but they're like, "Can you do this?" And it's like, "Oh no,"
Yeah.
Well, in this business, you learn by getting kicked in the dick.
A lot.
I mean,
Yeah.
or you watch other people around you, right?
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
someone in the corner of the room pulling their hair out. What happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just heard
And
this
then-
somewhere. They were talking about we can when someone tells you something. God, where was it? When someone tells you something. Oh, it was a thing on Fox and Friends this morning. and this couple from what is that little
Nobody cares. It
little
doesn't matter.
people big world or something like that.
Yeah,
well,
right.
the kids got married and they were talking about surrounding themselves with a lot of people, and then you could avoid the pitfalls by listening to other people, because other people in your family, have.
Yeah, but most people don't learn like that. Most people have to get burned.
That's.
I'm like that. You can tell me till you're
I
blue in
know.
the face not to touch that stove.
But the smart person learns from other people's mistakes.
I'm not smart, man.
right.
Yeah.
And we've all made them. We've all made them.
Look,
so.
I think this, and this is a little off topic, but I do think this business is completely, and anything actually in life is 100% how you react to adversity. When it's fine when everything's going good.
This business evolves from failure.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, people used to ask me, what do you do? And my big joke was, I'm a fireman. They were like, what? I put fires out every day.
Yeah.
When I was doing 1,000 transactions a year, I mean, that's a lot of
That's
transactions.
a lot of fires.
Right. And what are you doing all the time? Well, you got to make sure this is... no, we got a problem here. I couldn't take care of the daily. My girls, God
You're
bless them.
smart enough to have a good team, too.
Listen, it started with one person, okay, who was terrible team member.
Yeah.
Okay. But she looks at me and says, what do you want to get into foreclosures for?
Yeah.
And it's like, you need to do retail. And it's like, that's not the way this is going. And I had the forte of, looking to the little guy on my shoulder and said, this is the right way to go. And I mean, we still did retail, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But our focus was cultivating the
So just so everybody
foreclosure
knows
market.
what Tony's talking about, before the crash, you started getting into the foreclosure market way early.
2000.
Yeah. so
1999,
you're
2000.
basically 8 years. I mean, there was still some of that going on, but
Yes.
what happened was when 2008 hit, and like you were already positioned
Completely
for
ready
that
to go.
market, and
Yes.
you blew it out of the water because you honed your craft before it was actually a thing, and then all of a sudden everybody wanted to do it.
That's why the course that I'm going to be teaching, an online course on how to do bank foreclosures, is going to be available to people. And here's why. I started in 1999.
Yeah.
And I worked that whole year. And I'm not going to tell everybody what I did. It'll be part of the course. But
Yeah.
the bottom line, I got 3 listings that first year. 3. Oh, my God. It was like,
Yeah.
all right, I've been in the business for 4 or 5 years. Thank God I had other stuff going. But I did 3 listings that year. 2 of them came into that were redeemed, so we didn't get to take them. So I ended up selling 1 deal. 1 lousy freaking deal all year long. But then the next year, it was triple.
Yeah.
And the next year it was quadruple until 2009, 1,000 deals.
Well, think about this. So let me ask you this. So right now we're at like an all-time low in foreclosure sale, right?
Actually, they're on the rise right now.
A little bit.
A little bit.
No, very, very slight, but we're starting to see it a little bit more. So most people are like going for the
The retail.
the low-lying fruit right now, right?
Correct.
Just like in our business, Sal, refinances, right? Rates came down, and all of those are looking at refinances. So it's like whatever's in front of you, but we're having the foresight to prepare yourself for what's coming is a big deal.
Right. Well, from the surface, right, you think mortgages, you think of someone buying a house, their first-time buyer, whatever, 20% down.
Yeah.
You think real estate, you think, this. You don't realize the multiple facets that each of these industries have, right?
There's a million ways to make money in
Yeah,
this business.
like we were talking with Wendy a couple weeks ago.
Wendy
It's like,
Patton.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to necessarily buy a house.
Yeah.
Right? You got lease options, land contracts,
so
things
many
like
ways
that.
to make money in our business.
Correct.
And you can buy non-performing notes. You can do this. You can do that. Foreclosures, REOs. I mean, it's
The real estate market is so multifaceted.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways. And finding a way to navigate those look, even in the downturn where people were leaving the business in droves, you found a way to actually make more money.
Yeah, when the economy was bad, we boomed. We had our record
Right?
years.
Think about that.
Yeah.
well, and it's funny because everyone thinks it's time to get out. It's time to get out of mortgages, right? Rates are going up.
I hope people do.
And
Get
it's
out.
like,
Yeah.
no, that's huge opportunity for someone who
back in the early 2000s, people were running from Detroit. They were scared of it. We ran to it.
Yeah.
Now look
That's
at it
the
today.
difference.
Now we're running away from it because that's where everybody wants to be. And I feel that we're at a very, very high peak. Do I feel we're saturated yet? No, because the influx of money coming into Detroit is huge. So right now we're in a rah-rah moment, and
There will be a turn.
There will be a turn. It is. The same thing happened in Cleveland years and years ago. Cleveland.
I wouldn't compare
Cleveland
it to
is our
Cleveland.
sister city, bro. It's our sister city.
Yeah, but
and Cleveland went up, and then Cleveland came down. And I'm not saying we're going to go down, but we always go to extremes in our market. It's going to be really good, or it's going to be really bad.
Yeah, we're
Can't
like
we just
drug
find a
addicts.
decent? It's kind of weird.
Like as a economy, we're like drug addicts. Once we get going on, we're like, and all of a sudden we crash.
Well,
Yeah.
you have to have the foresight, like you said, right, to see what's going to happen to a degree in the future and know what path will lead you to not get burnt or hurt, right? Like 3-4 years ago, instead of making probably double money just calling leads and refis, right? I built a realtor business.
Right.
Right.
Because you saw it coming up.
Yeah.
With
What
me,
are you going to do when rates rise?
Here in 2008, 2009, and 2010, well, actually, when Obama came into office and said, no, we can't take their houses away from them. They get to stay there for free. Great. So now my foreclosure market, I had to reinvent myself all over again.
Oh, that affected you.
Huge, man. I went
yeah.
from making over $1 million a year to $100,000. And I mean, you can laugh, whatever. I mean, these are gross numbers. that
Whatever,
are
yeah.
You get my
I
point.
get it.
But it's like, wait a second. What the hell's going on
Well, that's
here?
the crazy thing about our business is when you put all your eggs in one basket, to be
Yes.
fair, in our business, we have so little control over some of this stuff that a policy change at the very top could decimate whatever business you're really putting all your eggs
That
into.
happened overnight.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It happened in 2008,
what I'm saying.
September, and it literally killed us. There was just a recent policy change in the FHA loans. What is it, a week ago?
Well, that's what I was going to talk about this. Like, just imagine this. So Sal and I write a lot of pre-approvals, right? And DU, which is like if you like go to get a credit card, you put your information in, you push a button, and it tells you if you're approved or not. Well,
Right.
Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, they all have that.
Yes.
You put in the file, you push a button, it says approved eligible or refer, you can't do it, right? Well, deals that we were running a month ago, doing pre-approvals, was on DU 9.1, I think it was, or whatever.
10.2.
10.2. And then all of a sudden they had a release of 10.3. Well, now those files, they got tighter.
Yeah,
Right?
They're getting turned down.
All of a sudden now, these people that were pre-approved, we're going back and saying, oh my God, DU's not
Well, after
taking
they
it.
get a contract, right?
Right.
So, hey, you were pre-approved 2-3 weeks ago.
Right.
Right.
Now we have a contract
Now we run it. It's on the new DU, and
by no fault of our own.
Hey,
Now- and
you gotta pay this
You're
off,
100%
whatever.
right. Yeah, and now all of a sudden, the rules change in the middle of the game.
With no warning.
With no warning. So basically, well, I had a deal where we had a house. We were getting ready to flip it. We were going to sell it for $120,000. We were a week away from closing. And in September of 2008, DU rules changed. So
That's
guess
what I'm
what? That
saying.
appraisal was no good. Everything was no good. All of a sudden, we couldn't do the deal for $80,000.
Right.
And it's like, you just killed everything on one deal.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, this house started devaluing because of the market. So this $120,000 house was now a $20,000 house.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, that's that's what I'm saying.
man, could you imagine buying a house literally like a month before the crash?
Oh, people did.
Like
People did.
putting 30-40% down your life savings essentially
Yeah.
into this house.
We lost
Boom.
trillions
as long
of
as you're
dollars.
not leaving anywhere, you're good.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. People freaked out, dumped their ass. A lot of people dumped what they thought was a toxic asset at the time.
Right.
Everybody was like, I'm just going to walk away.
Right.
I'm never going to get my money back.
so and they did good. When everybody was doing it, people that did that, I mean,
well, it screwed up their credit. That's the only thing.
for 2 years, big deal. Some of them were buying houses before they even got out. You'd buy a new house and then you'd short sale the old
A
house.
lot of people dumped their toxic assets.
And they did. They
Yeah.
dumped the toxic assets and they went away. I would have probably done the same thing had I not lived on the
Well, it's
lake.
been
I like
10
living
years.
on the lake,
It's been 10 years ago. You can get a conventional loan. Your credit's
Dude, I could have bought $1 million house for $250,000,
Yeah.
and then today it probably wouldn't be worth $1 million yet, but maybe 700, 750. The asset valuation that went up, I think, and probably in the last 3 to 4 years, even 3 years ago, when people are like, "Oh, we're at our peak," are you nuts?
We talked about this a year ago.
Yes,
Remember we talked
yes.
about this?
The-
We talked about this. People are like, I don't want to buy. We're peaking out. I'm like, well, you're an idiot.
You're
'Cause
an
we-
idiot.
Yeah. And
The numbers have gone up just this year again.
Yes. But here's here's what people need to understand. Wealth can be realized in any situation. There are people creating wealth in every situation. It just depends on how you evolve and how you adapt to whatever situation that's coming at you. For right now, we have to go back through and look at all our files, and we can find a way, even though DU has changed, to make that a positive, because now we can educate all our people. We can let real estate agents know that we're doing all the right things, and we're going to be on top of it, right? Other LOs aren't getting out in front of stuff like that, right?
No, they're not.
So it's all about how you evolve. It is crazy, Sal, that changed overnight. And we have to now basically, it's tighter. It's harder to get approved for the same mortgage that you could have gotten.
Hey, you got to pay
ago.
this off. You got to do this. You got to do that. Or I'm sorry.
We're talking 700 credit scores, 10% down with like 45% DTI. That was going all day before. Now it's not working. And you have
a lot tighter.
A lot tighter,
which doesn't really make sense, Given
I think what people are people are thinking the market's going to start tightening. I mean, look at the Fed. They said they're not going to raise rates, and actually they might even lower rates by the end of the year. There is a
we're right now we're at the lowest rates in 11 months, right?
Yeah, they popped up a little bit, but they're really low.
So what's an average 30-year going for right now?
4.25, 4.3, 4.5.
So
probably 4.3.
So now start taking a look at some of the trends. And I have friends in different industries, and those industries are kind of telltales. And I remember prior to the foreclosures, my cousin was in the automotive industry, and this was like 2003, 2004.
There's tells that start coming out.
He already told me. He goes, well, we've met with some big bankers and blah, 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 and they say this is going to get pretty drastic. It's going to get pretty bad. It's things that we've never seen before. Now, understand why the automotive company's done that. Right now, automotive has a record level of 90-day lates on car loans right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a very early. That's a tell.
Here's an early precursor. People that are leasing cars, okay? And I'll give you an example. A buddy of mine leases exotic cars. Audi exotic. It's still an exotic, okay?
Yeah.
Audi A8 was $850 for a monthly lease about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Today, that same car is about $1,300.
Yeah, it's gone up a lot.
The reason why is the residual has to be lower because they don't know what it's going to be worth if the economy tanks. I don't see it tanking like we tanked before, but I see an adjustment period, an adjustment of some sort.
A natural
yes,
correction.
Credit card debt is back up again.
Yep.
Okay, which means all it takes is a blip in the radar and somebody losing their job, and all of a sudden there's a few people out.
You know what is crazy? You don't know what you don't know, right? So like I always think of some of these lease deals, and it's like,
Sal, I leased a 2018 Equinox for $118 a month.
Right.
That's why I laughed at you for pulling up in a BMW, because for $118 a month, my work car is a normal everyday car that's not flashy, inexpensive. And for basically $1,400 a year, I'm driving a brand new car with a warranty and new tires, and they even changed the oil for me.
Wow.
Why?
No doubt.
Why?
But,
and I get it. I get why you like your car. I had the
Well,
RA.
he has another car.
I know that.
Okay.
But you just wanted to show off to me today because it's a beautiful car. I love
well,
it.
listen, put my car aside. All right? But you look at these lease deals, and you say, okay, it's a $100,000 car, right? You're going to pay $25,000, $30,000, let's say, of lease payments over the next 2 years, right? And then in 2 years, though, the car is worth $50,000.
Right.
Who eats that $20,000? The leasing company, the
there's
deal,
a huge
the
loss of equity.
manufacturer,
right, and that's why they raise the payments to cover the loss of the equity.
They
in the
need
payment.
to make more money per. Yeah.
And speaking, about a month ago, we got an order from a bank for 50 broker price opinions in one city.
Wow.
50. That doesn't mean, because Michigan's laws are different than other states, but Michigan, we have a 6-month redemption, okay? And if you think about that, one city with 50 houses in pre-foreclosure, because that's what they are, because they need a number for them so that the bank knows what to value those assets at, how to prevent this loss, because maybe we save it. Maybe if we have to foreclose, can we make our money back? If we give this guy a deal and restructure his loan, is it better than taking it off the books? We don't know.
Yeah.
But when we get 50 orders from one bank, it's
a lot.
it's a telltale that there's something coming up. I didn't say it's going to be bad, but I know that there's going to be a blip in the radar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about Zillow real quickly. I know we yeah. So
Spencer's out.
You got to get something else.
Sorry, it is kind of crazy to think, but some of these FHA loans are almost worse than a subprime loan.
They are subprime.
You know,
Why do you say that?
all right, you put 3.5% down. You got to actually get paid to close, right? DU says you need $5,272. You have $5,000. $4,982.
Right.
Can someone give you like $300 put in your account so we can close this deal?
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
However, the subprime guy who had a heartbeat, but put 20% down, he didn't
He's
foreclose.
got skin in the
Right.
game. Anytime you put skin in the game, when you stop putting skin in, like the deal that we were talking, I was asking if you guys did those Mishta loans.
Yeah.
Now, the people that are listening may not know what a Mishta loan is, but
It's a grant that helps.
Yeah.
you.
it's a grant, right?
You have zero skin in the game.
Right. Well, there was a new one called the Step Forward program,
Yeah.
and it was designed to stimulate housing in certain areas. Now, certain zip codes were specific, and not all zip codes were included. But basically, what they did was, if you made $61,000 a year or less for two people,
Yeah.
the larger the household, the more income you can make.
Yep.
They give you $15,000 for your down payment that does not have to be repaid.
If you don't refinance or sell in 2 years.
No, 5 years. Over
years, sorry,
5
5
years.
years, yeah.
So every year, 20% of that principal goes away.
It's
So if you
prorated,
live in
yeah.
the house for 5 years, you make those payments for 5 years, that 15 grand.
years.
Right. And then you can sell the house, and that's equity that you built up into the house. You have to take a couple-hour class to learn about it. But literally, these people were coming to closing and getting their earnest money deposit back with maybe a $200 or $300 deposit. And in most cases, because that $15,000, their payment was lower than a lease payment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's great. A lot of these programs are great, and a lot of people are responsible enough to make sure that their mortgage is the first
Absolutely.
thing paid, right? But there are absolutely some deals which, everyone's wrote where it's like,
Man, I don't know.
You
I
can
don't-
see it
yeah.
right from the beginning.
yeah, you are
I remember
sliding
the
into
collapse
home
right
and
before you. I don't think you guys weren't in the business in 03 and 04, were you?
I started in 03.
Okay. Well, I remember Washington Mutual. They had a rep that was going around pitching these four-way mortgages, which were interest only or negative or
Neg-am loans.
Neg-am. I mean, just some
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean,
stuff.
the loans
your
are not
payment.
set up to lose, right? They're
But listen,
fully
you guys-
amortizing and low rates.
But to your point, you got to listen to this deal. So you had a pick your payment program. You
Yes.
can either make a 15-year payment, a 30-year payment. You can make the interest only, or
a negative.
you could pay less than your payment, and the difference gets
Just
added
tack
to your
on.
principal.
Which added to the principal. Now, the funny part about that, if you think about this, as the house's value, the home values were rising in 04, you could have rode this out for 3 or 4 years while the values were still up there, and you could have made a fortune. You could have done all these different homes, negative AMs, rent them out, make your
Right.
thing, and then
But-
cash them
but
out.
people didn't do it for
They
that.
didn't do it for that.
No,
they
they
were
did
doing
it
it to
because
get
they
a
wanted
house,
to
yeah.
buy a house.
I've saw a guy collapse with over 40 loans like that.
You know how many times I've seen people go to refinance and their balance is higher than when they started, and they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "You have a pick your payment." They're like, "Well, what do you mean?"
I didn't pick that.
They
You
didn't
know
even-
what's
they didn't
funny about
understand
the laws and government and everything, right? Like, so that guy who lost 40 of them,
Yeah.
just in the same spot as someone who lost one. As
Without
far as
question.
their credit and everything
no,
like
it's
that,
all
a few
relative,
years,
yeah.
it's
Well,
all
what they say, if you're going
it's
to
all
rob a
washed.
bank, make sure it's got a lot of money in it, not a
Yeah.
little money in it. Because if you're going to go to jail for a lot of money, not a little bit of money.
But
It's not worth
I
it.
think it is a little alarming the lack of control given to these underwriters, right? Because there are a lot of deals where like these underwriters are essentially an umpire, right? They got to
Yes.
play by the rules of the game. You're
Yes.
safe if you're safe. You're out if you're out,
Yeah.
right? So
There's
you got
no
people
actual-
sliding into home
Yeah.
plate,
right underneath
and
the
they
catcher's
just
mitt.
make it, and the umpires, hey, well,
Yeah,
you made it,
right,
right?
and that's where you need somebody
That's a
that's
great
got a
analogy.
little bit of variance.
Yeah,
and say,
like,
wait,
hey, you
wait
know
a
what?
second, we got a problem.
This is
here.
fucked up, or hey,
Right.
you know what? This guy's got plenty
there's
of
no common
reserves. Blah
sense
blah
in our
blah.
business.
Okay, his DTI is a couple,
Well,
couple
I
percent
think
too high, but
we
he's
could
got a
say this whole problem, how it started. And I can take it back to the Jimmy Carter days, but I really take it back to the Hillary Clinton days when she was the one that was coming up with these ideas, and her and Bill said everybody deserves to own a house. That's the American dream. Well, I hate to say this as a landlord, okay? Not everybody deserves to own a house.
No, there's a barrier of entry that you have to bank it into.
Correct. And I think that's probably one of the biggest keys. There's a lot of people that love it, a lot of people will appreciate it, but there's more so a lot of people that won't. And those are the people that they don't care. I'll let it go. I don't care. Well,
Yeah.
I lived here for free for a year. I won. It's like you don't get it, and I think people don't really care about their credit score because of the laws in this country that can
I
be
see
fixed
it
so
all the
quickly.
time. Humans don't necessarily care about the consequences of their actions as long as they live in the now. And if I have a
Well,
nice,
when you live in a country where essentially financially there aren't really any consequences, right?
you can walk away.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can walk away, and it's like
Yeah.
here's a little slap on the wrist
You're gonna-
financially,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You can't go lease your
You're not going to die.
Escalade or
You're
whatever
not going to die
for
You're
the
not going
next
to
2
jail.
years.
You're not going to debt jail.
Yeah,
Right? There's no debt jail.
no one's going to come to your house and shoot you dead because you didn't pay your
Right.
mortgage.
The collector's not actually knocking on your door.
No, you're right. You're right. You're
And
right.
someone will actually come and kiss your ass. You know,
Yeah, how can we keep you,
got
in
peop-
here for a little while
Yeah.
longer? I mean,
or hey, I'll give you $30,000 to walk out of here
I've-
right now.
I've
We'll
known
take it
people-
over.
I've known people in the business that have stayed in their homes for over 4 years without paying a nickel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But the problem is they didn't save that money.
no.
They
Or
just
they live for free for a year
They
and a
actually,
half.
they actually
or-
renovated the house.
and
they're
someone
not paying.
comes up to him and says, "Hey, I'll give you cash right now to,
Yeah.
to basically buy you out of your redemption period,
Right,
so we
correct.
can make some money."
Tony's
Correct.
So you
And
don't
then
make
they
your
make
mortgage
the money
payment
because you're that stupid. You don't realize
Yeah.
that you could sell the house and
Right.
make that money and pay your debt off.
Tony, what,
You know?
what are you doing, Tony? You putting your glasses on?
Megan's just texting me, my secretary. She
Okay,
says
you're just
there's
gonna
a
do
problem.
you're gonna do some secretary work. All right.
No.
Are we done?
No, I'm all done.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You know how I am. It's like shiny cat, shiny
Let,
dog.
let me ask you this: you're wearing a T-shirt that says Operation Underground Railroad. What the fuck is that?
Wow. It's
The
a
Underground
real-
Railroad is
The Underground Railroad was the slave trade back
Yeah.
in the early 1900s.
Is that-
Operation Underground Railroad is a charity that I support that is helping stop and infiltrate the human trafficking
got
of
it.
children throughout the world, and it's something I've fallen very fond of to try to help. And what we've been doing is, actually, there's a movie coming out, and I'm going to be renting a couple movie theaters throughout, actually 5 or 6 movie theaters, and we're going to debut this movie out for charity.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we saw the preview of it in Nashville at our marketing seminar, and we raised $1 million that day.
Wow.
That day, the 4,500 people that were there, we raised $1 million for this. How does it go? I know the specifics, but every certain amount of money arrests one trafficker. And
It's so crazy that there's actually a human
human
market.
trafficking is worse than drug trafficking.
100%. We're
Yes.
talking about humans.
Human beings. With the movie we saw 3 simultaneous raids in 3 areas in Colombia because they were in, and believe it or not, the biggest perpetrators are Americans who are going down there for these young children. I mean, they had a little boy, 11 years old,
Shut
little
up. I don't
girls,
wanna-
13 years
I
old.
can't do it, bro. I can't do that.
But I'll tell
No.
you right now, these people, they're ex-CIA, ex-Special Forces, ex-NSA, and they quit with retirement still looming, not to be fully vested, to do this work. So they're basically private cops that travel all over the world to stop this at its source. And the movie that we saw arrested 120 traffickers and saved like 135 children. It's
wild,
And
dude.
it's like, oh my God. Literally, it was so freaky.
But this is how sick our fucking world is that literally there are people that have money that will go down and pay for another human.
Yes.
Think about that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like, dude,
Yeah, I don't even
dude.
want to. I can't.
The human element of this that is so there's such a
Every time you heard stuff like that, you just plug your ears.
I can't do it. Dude. There's so many bad people in this world.
The
man.
emotions in the movie, and this is a privately funded movie where the guy that runs this marketing seminar, his name is Russell Brunson, which a lot of people know who he is.
Yeah.
He's the founder of ClickFunnels. He basically funded this whole project for this awareness. So we've been doing everything we could. We're waiting for the movie to be fully finalized. We saw the first cut, and what we're going to do is I want to bring it out here in the metropolitan Detroit area and put it out through theaters throughout the city for a week and just give people volunteer.
I don't even think people this topic. I don't think it's talked about, but I really don't think the general public actually totally understands
They have no
the
clue.
severity or the reality that humans are being stolen and used in the sex trade underground, and people are paying money for this.
Correct.
This is the reality.
Big money.
Yeah.
It's bigger. It's bigger than drugs.
It's like
I
that
mean,
movie Taken is legit.
It's legit.
It's
But
legit.
that's two people.
The only problem is there's not what's his name coming after you because that doesn't exist.
Right? Yeah, Liam Neeson's not around.
He's not like I will find you.
But these guys that are in there are amazing. They're absolutely amazing. But when you see what they have to go through, all the hidden camera surveillance,
and these poor kids are so
they
brainwashed.
had. Listen to this. Well, you know, like the Miss Universe pageant.
Yeah.
Miss Columbia was recruiting children for modeling. Miss Columbia. And she was putting them right into this sex trafficking ring.
These Colombians will find any way to make money, dude. I'm telling you.
And there's some parents that because they're broke, they put their kids into it. And now
they sell their kids, bro.
Sell their kids, and now or they rent them or lease them out. You know, and now they have a now this border crisis, this border crisis that we're having right now. One of the things that they're saying is the cartel are stealing children, kidnapping them, and then they're going through the border to bring a cartel guy through because they're not stopping families, okay? And then when they're done, they return the kid back to the other side. They smuggle the kid back, and then guess what they do? They use him again to bring another drug smuggler.
Right.
I mean,
I'm not
whether they're and you know they're abusing. They say 30% of the people are being raped at
poor
the border
fucking
and assaulted.
kids, man. I mean, as a child, I think about my kids and I want to give them like happiness and like fun, right?
Dude, I got a 14-year-old daughter, man. I can't even imagine this. It makes me sick.
I'd kill someone.
Yes.
I swear to you, I would.
Oh yeah.
I would literally. If
But
someone
that's
hurt,
the world is not the same place. You know what? The world's probably still the same place.
It is.
We're just more aware of it now because of,
the world is probably worse.
Yes.
Because there's awareness now.
You look in the past and everything, right? And just some of the horrors of the world, right? And typically they bring out, obviously you see the worst in people, but once it becomes aware, it usually brings out the best in people. So you just kind of got to take it all the greatness.
It's a constant battle.
That's a great way to put it.
You're right.
That's a really
Think
great
about
way to
9/11.
Yeah.
19 people pretty much destroyed our country. 19 people.
Yeah.
So when they say one person crosses the border, it's not going to affect anything. Yes, it is.
The beauty of our humanity is our ability to be compassionate, but there's also the antithesis to that, the other side of that. There's also such a dirty side to our humanity. And thank God that we have the compassion as humanity to like fight against it for the most part. But there's a lot of people out there that live in the bowels of this earth.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So
there's people that only know the bowels of this earth, right? And that's where it's like,
it's their
it's kind of
environment.
difficult.
Think
to
about the people that are living in refugee camps that we've rescued and brought over here and changed
all they
their
know
lives.
is their family getting killed.
Yeah.
You know? And
Fear.
it's kind of like, we couldn't have even imagined that.
No.
You know?
Yeah, it's all the environment, yeah.
I have not had someone very, very close to me even die, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of,
yeah.
You know,
I wish you luck when that happens.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Guess what? It's going to happen.
Yeah, no, it will happen,
yeah.
but it's like
I really hate that.
people
I don't
are.
like that.
No,
Yeah.
I me neither.
I don't like that.
Anyway, Zillow.
Yeah, Zillow. Dude. Real quick.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
It was a great shirt, but if you guys ever want to donate some money before we go on
it's
to Zillow,
Operation
Underground Railroad. Look it up if you can. I don't care if you donate $1 or $5.
Yeah.
Look it up. They got some cool swag, really cool T-shirts. This is actually OUR.
It's a cool shirt.
Yeah, it's like broken chains. So break the chains. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
I
really.
like that.
I really took heart to it, and it really means a lot to us.
That's
Even though
great.
we're at us at Remax, we donate to Children's Miracle Network, which is another part of.
There's a lot of great charities.
There's a
out there
lot.
that-
You can't pick them all, but this is one that I chose.
As a person, if you choose one that you care about, do something for the world.
Yes.
If you have,
Give back.
Yeah, give back.
Okay. Give back to Zillow.
Zillow, real quick. They are officially, so they had bought a mortgage company. They weren't really doing much with it. Now they just announced they're going full force. They're going to have their own mortgage company. They're going to have their own real estate company. They're becoming the one-stop shop, which I think there's a place in this business. There's a lot of VC money going into this. There's a lot of companies open doors doing it. The reality of what we're doing, there's a fundamental push to simplify the whole real estate process to where you can all do it like the Amazonification of real estate. My argument to this, and obviously I'm biased because I'm on the other side, is that real estate transactions are so complicated and that they need a human element to be able to help someone through it, that we're not going to lose that. But it is good. There's going to be a huge population of people that end up doing these deals, so it is going to cut into the overall volume of people actually using our services professionally to be able to, because they might not see the value in it anymore, right?
A year ago, you said, if the market share drops,
Yeah, I don't care.
you don't own all the
I don't
market
care.
share, so it
Exactly.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not worried about Zillow, but
I don't own 100%.
Spencer
of the market,
Spencer Roscoff is now gone.
Yeah.
Okay, he was the CEO of Zillow. He was driving force behind everything, and now the guy that's in charge is the guy that he originally started Zillow. And guess what he used to own before Zillow? Expedia.
Okay.
So basically, what he did is he took the travel agents and destroyed them.
He won't.
Not single-handedly.
But here's the thing about travel agency that I want people to understand. I use a travel agent, and they're one of the largest in the country, and they're actually flourishing because people like me, I just want to call
their
someone.
number.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
You call them, they buy, and then it might be $50 more.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to search for 4 hours on Expedia to try to find the best deal.
Right.
Tell me where the best deal is. Call me, Alexandra at Cosmopolitan. Give me a call. Let me know where and where to be.
Oh, Cosmopolitan Travel. My cousin works there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
They've been around for a long time.
They're Greek.
I used to have a website called First in Service.
Yeah.
I was buying websites at one time.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, First in Service is a travel agency out of New York, high-end travel agency. They bought the
And they're
website
doing
from me
amazing.
for $4 dimes.
Think about that.
They're doing amazing
So my
because
point-
people still want
Right.
service.
Yes.
Well, and those
Even
people
in that industry,
value
yes.
it, and they have a service set up on a service-based business, right? As opposed to like a high service-based business, as opposed to like, you said a lot of them got wiped out because you just called up, hey, whatever, we'll book something
Right.
for you. They're all gone, right? So
They're not looking for
But
that
the
client.
best survived, and they're flourishing
right
because they
well,
were
the
able.
boutique-y,
Right.
let's say
But
it's
it's the same thing. It's like,
Zillow.
hey, where should I go to? Okay, I walked in a restaurant yesterday in Ferndale. I'm not going to say the restaurant, but I'm like, what do you think what's good on the menu? This is the hot, new, trendy place. What's good on the menu? Oh, I don't know. I've only had a couple of the things. Oh, what?
Yeah.
bro.
Wait a second, bro. That's not what we're looking for.
Everybody wants direction.
Yes.
Give me some
Yeah.
direction. Tell
It
me
is
what to
funny
do.
when you
Bring me value. At the
Yes.
end of the day,
If you got to add value.
we add value as mortgage brokers, as real estate agents. We add value. If you think you're going to go to the table and do what we do through a computer with somebody in another state, we already know what it's like using a mortgage company in another state when you're in Michigan and somebody's in.
Look, it
You
will
know what
it will
annoys me
happen,
too
though.
is the mentality, and I'm probably catch some flack from some people, but when you're a server, right, and you don't provide value, I don't think you deserve more than your $3 an hour or whatever that you've.
without question.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I always, sometimes I'll work with, or we'll be at dinner with someone. Well, I was a server, so I'm going to give her 20% regardless.
No.
Well, she fucking sucked.
No, but
Right?
when they're
She
good,
couldn't tell me what.
Look,
She didn't come
you-
and check
do you
on
pay
us.
more
I
than
really-
20%?
Yeah.
Always.
I do too.
Always. I always.
If they're okay, I give them 20%.
wanna-
But if
I-
you're bad,
I want
Yeah.
to take care of them, and if you provide me a service, I'll do it gladly because I want you to be happy because you made me happy.
Yes.
Right. But if you don't make me happy, I'm not reaching in my pocket and get so like.
So you can continue the pain and punishment.
But we have to.
I'm a Yelp guy, man.
We have to
Trust-
realize that on our end too, right? Like your margins should dictate the level of service that you give. If you're giving great service, yes, of course you deserve your 3%.
Yeah.
Right.
But nobody gives us tips.
Well,
dude.
now we've got
you
that
can't give it
lawsuit
back.
in Minnesota right now. You guys, have you spoken about that
Yeah,
yet?
we talked about it.
Okay, so think about that. That's basically what they're saying. Well, wait a second. With all the technology that's out there today, you guys can take less money. And it's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What about all this problem solving?
class action lawsuit, too.
That only comes into play.
Oh, we gotta go.
That only comes into play because of the years of knowledge that you have. These answers couldn't be answered instantaneously.
They don't. People listen. The population doesn't understand the value until they have a bad experience.
That's correct.
Right.
Yes.
So it's just the reality of where we're at. Listen, we're running out of time. Tony, I love having you on the show, dude, because it goes fast. You are a wealth of knowledge. You're
you.
one of my favorite guests that we have on here, obviously, because you've been on here 10 times.
And you guys got me into this crap, and I'll tell you right now, I love it. I can't think anything. I mean,
I'm
honestly,
excited
God,
for
if
you.
it wasn't for you, I would not be doing what I'm doing. We started it basically, well, you guys were already doing it prior, but we
Yeah.
started in this green room
Yeah.
literally a year ago.
Yeah.
And I have not stopped, and I'm going full bore.
love
And
it.
you know what? And I can't wait to have you on my podcast.
I can't wait.
You know, when's your party?
It's fun stuff.
May 9th.
We're
Give everybody how they can get a hold of you or get to the podcast. Tell them all the stuff. How they can find Tony.
You can
Raffert.
find our podcast, Fix It and Flip It, on
Podcast Detroit.
Podcast Detroit, Google Play,
Yeah.
iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, same thing. My Talk to Tony podcast will be available shortly. It's not available yet. It hasn't been uploaded on the Talk to Tony on Facebook. You can find us. You can also find us on Fix It and Flip It on Facebook and those two areas. So basically Facebook. And if you need any help in the real estate, give me a call, 586-773-4400. We're at RE/MAX First. We've got 5 locations in the Detroit metropolitan area. And we're always ready
let's
to
not
serve
forget
you.
You do real estate too.
Yeah, I do real estate too. I do what do you call that? Motivational help and mental awareness, which I've got my own mental awareness.
Your stripper game is not doing too well, I hear.
No.
Jessica, thank you so much for always being here.
You,
My
Jess.
pleasure.
Yeah, isn't Tony just always like a treat?
Yeah, he is. He just has the greatest energy.
Yeah,
So
you can't even be down
it's
around him at all, right?
No, it's impossible.
All right, guys.
Can I give you a quote? I want to give you a quote because I was on a podcast last week and the guy says, he goes, we always end our podcast with a quote. So everybody always has a cool quote.
Okay.
Do you guys have a quote a favorite quote?
Yeah, don't shit in my pond.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Play better.
Yeah, play better. Don't shit in my pond.
All right. I got a quote I want.
Those are originals, by the way.
No, I've got one.
Well, I mean, you really prepared right now.
I didn't prepare. This was last minute for me.
Jessica's like, I gotta go, dude.
Jessica, do you have to go?
Well, yeah, but you're fine. 1 minute isn't going to kill me.
Okay, hold on a second here. I wanted you to hear this quote. You'd have been blown away by it, and I can't find it now, and I'm really upset.
You should have been prepared.
I should have been prepared. I'm sorry.
What's the gist of it?
Yeah, make it
The
up.
bottom line is when the opportunity knocks at your door, don't just answer it. Kick that bitch down and embrace it. And basically, it's not exactly the way it goes, but that was a quote from The Rock. And opportunity knocks all the time for us.
Yeah.
Don't just sit there and wait for the door to
jump
open.
on it.
Kick that son of a bitch down and go
Attack
chase
it.
after
Attack
it.
it. Attack it.
You can chase your dreams, man.
I love it. Tony, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for listening. We appreciate you reaching out to us. We've been doing this show for a year now. Really proud of it. Have a wonderful day, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
To Inside Real Estate, the nation's top real estate podcast. Don't forget to follow us at irepodcast.com and everywhere where podcasts are available.